Okay, so I'm Sherrin and at present I am the Children's and Youth Minister at Balham Baptist Church, and when I was at Oasis I studied Youthwork and Ministry. So when I first felt that God was saying I needed to go and work with children and young people, I'd been volunteering for most of my adult life, and our previous youth minister was leaving. I'd watched her for 3 years do a different course, which meant that she had to travel to Cambridge every other week, sometimes sleeping on floors, and I just thought, I can't do that. My church already had links. They knew Steve Chalk and they knew all about Oasis, so I came along to an open day and thought, yeah, I could be here because it's every week. I can still be doing the practice that I want to be doing and learning at the same time, so it was a really easy decision. I really liked the way that the course was set out in between what you learn at college, but along with the practical stuff as well. So it just meant that I wouldn't have to take myself away from all of the stuff that I did. So my placement church was my home church, and I didn't want to have to be saying to them, oh, I can't do that, that's not part of what I'm supposed to be doing, because it was still my church, so it was a different setup, if you like. I wasn't really strict with my hours, but I knew that I could mix and match it well, and if I'd had to travel outside of London to study all the time, it would have taken a big chunk out of what I was able to do in my placement. I think the way that it was set up in terms of we always had to do lots of reflection was really helpful, because it made you stop and think about what was going on. And I think as well, there were times when if your work wasn't getting done or it was sloppy, there were people there. It wasn't like being at other universities sometimes where you don't see your lecturer from one week to another or maybe every other week. I really enjoyed knowing that there was someone there and they were going to pull me up on it, because there wasn't a huge class, it was very personal, so there was always somebody to talk to, and I think that is invaluable, especially when you're trying to juggle working at the same time. I think they were really good. The lecturers coming out to see you in your placement, the conversations that they had without you with your line manager just meant that everybody knew what the expectations were, so I was never having to battle and say, oh, I'm not sure if I can do that. It was easy. My line manager really knew what he should be expecting from me and knew that he could contact the college if he needed to. So it was really nice. It was just so joined up, which is really helpful when you're trying to, especially when you're in a placement and you want to do everything. Of course you do, because you enjoy the work, but at the same time the college are putting the brakes on and saying, hold on a minute, let's reflect on that, what's going on. And I think the fact that we had to do reflections a lot just made you consider, and it makes you learn, so it was really helpful. I think I just developed in terms of not being scared of putting together my own material for teaching children or young people. And I think that came from the fact that when we did biblical analysis, it was hard. I didn't find it really easy, but I learned how to do it. I learned that you're not supposed to come up with everything by yourself, and there are commentaries and all these other things that you can use to build into your programme. And I found that really useful, because so much of the material we had been using was very middle class, very 2.4 children, and in London that's usually not what you get. So it became much more work to have to adapt everything that you were being given, rather than it was to sit down with a blank sheet and go, this is my aim, where are we going with it? And I really enjoyed that. I think the most important thing is to go and see what you're talking about. Don't just rely on what other people say. When I came to Oasis, it was really comfortable. It wasn't stressful, it was really easy in terms of meeting people and then talking you through the course. It was modular, which is a huge thing for me, because I need to know that a piece of work is finished and I can move on, because I don't enjoy lots of exams and all of that kind of thing, so that was really helpful to me. I also think that if you're someone who enjoys or who needs support, not that I don't enjoy study, but I do sometimes procrastinate and quite like to do other things instead of doing what I should be doing. Oasis didn't let me do that, because there was always, you met your tutors every week, so there was always something to keep you on point. And I think when you visit somewhere and you feel relaxed and you feel like the staff know what they're doing and they're relaxed, the whole team was seamless. It was really enjoyable. Nothing was stressful, and you could ask questions and it wasn't like, are you stupid, or why don't you understand how this works, or especially when you look at things like the way that you have to upload essays and things to computer systems. That takes time to learn, and everybody was really helpful. So I think go to where you're thinking about going, think about yourself and what your needs are, and whether or not the college that you're looking at can fit those needs, meet those needs.